expected to hate it, but I didn't. Hello and welcome back to Today Years Old. I'm a consultant recovering from burnout, and on this channel I share my burnout busting tips and productivity hacks to beat the burnout once and for all. If you haven't already seen my insane 95-hour work week, then you should check out the video down below. And if you don't know why I did this in the first place, then you should watch my reaction to the Goldman Sachs analyst survey in the link also down below. In this video, I'm going to share what I learnt by doing a 95-hour work week. And I'm going to split this into 3 areas: what I learned mentally, physically, and what I had to sacrifice to be able to complete the experiment. You should remember that everything I'm going to tell you is tainted by the fact that I only did this for 1 week. I have no doubt that if you were to do this week in, week out, without any end date in sight, you'd soon be on the path to burnout. To be honest, before I started this experiment, I thought long and hard about whether it was really the right thing to do. You see, I've just come back from 3 weeks off and I've only been back a month from my burnout. So at the beginning, I didn't even tell anyone I was doing this experiment because they'd have all had sensible advice for me, like, "You've only just come back to work, you're going to burn out again. 95 hours, that's ridiculous, you're going to be exhausted." And to be honest, it would have been sensible advice, but I wouldn't have learned the really important things that I have learned. So, you know what? I'm really glad I've done it. When I first started on the road to recovery, I read a book by a guy called Tim Ferriss called The 4-Hour Workweek. And at the time, I thought it had changed my life. What I took from it was a lot of our time is spent working with lots of inefficiency in our day, and that's what causes us to be working long hours. So when I returned to work, I set out on a mission to prove that you could do the output of a 60-hour work week in 40 hours. Thing is, by doing this experiment, I learned that I was wrong. Even if you don't watch any more of this video, take this. There is such a thing as the inefficiency sweet spot. Now, look, 95 hours definitely isn't it, but nor is what I was doing before. You see, I was so focused on output, not outcome, that I forgot to enjoy the journey. And let's be honest, whether you work 40 hours a week or 95 hours a week, you're going to spend most of your life working. So you might as well enjoy it. And actually, if you find that inefficiency sweet spot, then you'll enjoy it so much more. Although I can't quantify how many hours meets that sweet spot just yet, I do now firmly believe that if I had carried on trying to be as efficient as possible all of the time, then that's a road to another form of burnout. Maybe I had to work 95 hours to learn that, but I am so glad I did. So let's go with our first category, mental well-being. To be honest, going into this week, I thought that would be the one to take the biggest hit. But actually, it didn't. Now, big caveat. I think this is heavily influenced by the fact that it was a 1-week time-bound experiment. So if you were to do this ad infinitum, I can see that you may not feel the same way at all. So big caveat. But I'm also just being honest, and actually, at the end of the week, I felt better than I had done for a long time. So I feel a bit uncomfortable telling you that, but it is the honest truth. When I get tired, the first thing that goes is my memory. So I was expecting to have a few memory loss by the end of the week, but actually I had no impact to my memory, no impact to my mood, and I felt quite good at the end of the week. Make of that what you will. What about physical? Well, here is a different story. So I thought this was probably going to be fine, but actually here I got a big surprise. So the first few days were fine. Monday, great. Tuesday, great. Wednesday, peaking. Thursday, fine. In the evening, crashing. And Friday, I was shattered. The first thing to come were the mouth ulcers. By the end of the week, I had 5 mouth ulcers, and it was getting so painful to speak that I actually stopped filming so many videos. Then came the stomachache. Now, over the weekend, I had a few stomach discomforts, let's say, and I'm not clear on whether that is because of the exhaustion or if that's because by Friday I was mainlining caffeine. In fact, apart from the beer I had in the evening, I didn't drink any uncaffeinated drink on Friday, yet I still felt absolutely exhausted. And to be honest, both Thursday morning and Friday morning, I woke up feeling like I had a dreadful hangover, but without having had any of the alcohol. So physically, I felt pretty drained by the end of the week, even though my head was still in quite a good place. On the flip side though, for somebody who normally has trouble sleeping, this was a great cure to my insomnia. Would I recommend it as a cure? Definitely not. But overall, physically, this was a pretty rubbish experience. Now, given that there's only a finite number of hours in the day, I must have had to have sacrificed something to get in the full 95 hours. And I did. There were 3 things. The first was TV. My TV didn't go on throughout the whole experiment. And you know what? I don't feel like I missed out. The second was a run. So I normally run 3 times a week, Monday to Friday, but this time I only ran twice. Again, I don't really feel like I missed out because I ran at the weekend instead. But there was one thing I did have FOMO. That was reading. Normally, I like to take the last hour of the day just to read, wind down, switch off before I go to bed. But to be honest, at the end of each day, I was so tired that I couldn't keep awake to concentrate on reading, so I just go straight to sleep. That is something I did miss out on, and I would like to bring reading back into my daily balance. So, there you have it. What I learned from a 95-hour work week. 1, it's okay for a very short time. In fact, you might even surprise yourself. Secondly, it's okay to carry some inefficiency to find the inefficiency sweet spot. But finally, it's not a long-term way to live your work-life balance. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and join me in the next video for the first Burnout Book Club, where we're going to be talking about this book by Mark Manson. See you there.